everyone to be seated. Namaste and a very good morning to all the esteemed dignitaries, distinguished guests, academicians and dear participants. It's my honor and privilege to welcome you all to the two-day national conference on Towards Vision Viksit Bharat at 2047 Capacity Building in Higher Education, organized by Center for Educational and Social Studies in collaboration with the Indian Council of Social Science Research, New Delhi, the National Assessment and Accreditation Council, Bengaluru, Sikkim University, and VET First Grade College, Bengaluru. As we envision a developed India by 2047, this conference is going to provide a significant platform to deliberate on the role of higher education in nation building. We are privileged to have with us eminent thought leaders, policymakers, and academic experts whose contributions have shaped India's education system and institution development. Let us begin the inaugural ceremony by seeking the blessings of the Almighty, the divine force to guide us in all the endeavors. I now request Shreyas, student of final year BCom, to please present an invocation song.
Gajavadana Pavana Vignanashana Gajavadana Pavana Gajavadana Pavana Vignanashana Gajavadana Pavana Pashankushadhara Paramadayalu Pashankushadhara Paramadayalu Karunapurita Gauri Kumarane Karunapurita Gauri Kumarane Gajavadana Pavana Vignanashana Gajavadana Pavana Sundaravadana Aravindanayana Sundaravadana Aravindanayana Sundari Kandane Bandurakshiso Sundari Kandane Bandurakshiso Gajavadana Pavana Vignanashana Gajavadana Pavana. Thank you.
Thank you, Shreyas. To make this event more blessed, let us invoke the Almighty by lighting the lamp of knowledge and wisdom. I kindly request our honorable dignitaries on the dais to light the lamp on this auspicious occasion.
भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्
Thank you. Extending my warm welcome to Dr. Parvati, Principal, VET First Grade College. I now request her to please welcome the dignitaries and the gathering to the conference.
Very good morning to all of you. First and the foremost, my apologies for the delay. Respected dignitaries, esteemed guests, distinguished speakers, and participants. It is my honor to welcome you all to the two-day national conference organized by CES in collaboration with NAC, Sikkim University and VET First Grade College and sponsored by ICSSR on the title Capacity Building in Higher Education Institutions. I am delighted to see such a diverse gathering of experts, educators, and stakeholders from across the country. As we gather here today, we are reminded of the critical role that higher education plays in shaping the future of our nation. The theme of our conference, Capacity Building in Higher Education, is timely and relevant as we strive to equip our institutions and educators with the skill and knowledge necessary to meet the challenges of 21st century. Over the next 2 days, we will engage in meaningful discussions, share best practices, and explore innovative solutions to enhance the quality and relevance of higher education in India. I am supposed to invite our Padma Shri awardee, Professor M.K. Sridhar sir. Due to certain technical issues, sir has arrived here, but he is waiting in the boardroom for meeting all the principals. But still, I would like to read out his achievements in 2 lines by welcoming wherever we are. Professor M.K. Sridhar, President of CES and Chancellor Chanakya University, an inspiring academician and professor in management, popularly known as MKS. Professor M.K. Sridhar is a teacher, researcher, institution builder, and mentor to thousands of students across the world with over 4 decades of teaching experience. Professor MKS serves as a professor, dean, and director of Department of Management Studies at Bangalore University, and also a strong supporter of Indian knowledge system, who is enamored by the mission and ideology of education system, who has shown underlying admiration for the central leadership. He is a dynamic leader and looks forward with support to see India becoming a leader in the global front. I welcome you for today's national conference, sir. As I told you, due to technical issues, he is in the campus, but waiting down to meet all of you later. Give a big round of applause for him. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to our today's chief guest, Mr. Srinath Bhatni, co-founder, Axeler Ventures, who has served as a member of the board of directors at Infosys and also held various positions from project management to heading key business units. He has been an innovator, initiator, and activist in the field of development and its linkage to society through skill development. I welcome you for this today's conference, sir. We are indeed much honored to have with us today's guest of honor, Professor Ganeshan Kanabiran, Director NAC, a teacher, researcher, administrator, and a director whose bond with excellence continues in achieving academic goals and ambitious plan for quality improvement in education, whose mission and vision is to achieve excellence in the chosen field. He has made significant contribution, including implementation of NEP 2020 by incorporating skill development, holistic education, inclusive education, credit transfer, and more into the education system. He has also introduced many best practices in the area of students' placement, attracting and retaining highly qualified faculty members, promoting innovation, entrepreneurship, and societal engagements. I welcome you for today's inaugural session, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, because we belong to an assessment organization, I don't personally attend programs, first of all. I don't go to any college. Because of stress, I'm here. And we also don't receive any mementos. And so I have started a practice of giving memento to the institution. And of course, from my personal money. And this I call it as Viksit Bharat tree. Okay, this is for the nation to grow and leave a mark in this institution. I'll leave it with the principal.
Thank you very much, sir. You're emotionally trapped us. Now it is our pleasure to welcome Shri B.R. Vishwanath Shetty, President of Vasavi Educational Trust, a great businessman who served as a director, Vaishya Bank, KSITC, exporter, district governor of Rotary 89, a diplomatic, enthusiastic philanthropist with profound knowledge in providing unwavering support in stability, continuity, and quality of education to the institutions. A visionary who unconditionally strength and determination acts like a pillar in our endeavors. I welcome you, sir. I also welcome our yet another esteemed speaker, Professor Ashok H.S., Honorary Professor SES, who has reached understanding of Indian perspective of consciousness studies. He is one of the founding team of academicians who brings enormous collaboration opportunities in academics, research, and institutional excellence. I welcome him to throw insight about today's conference. I welcome you, sir. I welcome our esteemed speakers, panelists, and paper presenters who will share their expertise on various topics of today's theme. I also appreciate the support of various college principals, conference organizers, sponsors, press and media, without whom this event would not be possible. Yeah? Yes. I welcome Dr. Gaurish, the professor and the director of the SES. He has experience in quality management and accreditation of higher education institutions. His areas of interest includes quality in education and management of NGO. He worked as a chief consultant in the technical secretariat of committee to draft national education policy. He has also served as an honorary secretary and treasurer of CLAMS, a Bangalore-based NGO. He has delivered more than 100 lectures on National Education Policy 2020 at various national seminars and webinars. He is a governor nominee member of Academic Council of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar School of Economic, University, Bangalore. I welcome you, sir. No, I didn't forget you, sir. To our participants, I encourage you to actively engage in the discussions, ask questions, and share your experiences. This conference is unique opportunities to us to learn from each other and to forge new collaboration and partnership. Before I conclude, once again, I welcome you all for this insightful gathering. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. That was actually a very good start to this conference. So without much delay, now I request Professor Ashok H.S., Honorary Professor SES, Bengaluru, to provide an overview of the vision, objectives, and key themes of this conference. Over to you, sir.
Ellarigu namaskara, good morning. So, the primary objective of this particular conference, we talk about Viksit Bharat, we are also familiar with NEP, and then how to integrate that particular philosophy or the objective of NEP is a major factor. So we are all in the field of education, thinking in terms of how to promote education component is concerned. Coming from a psychology background, I normally say, when you talk in terms of education, what is the purpose of education? So education, learning, employment, whether they are related with one another, how to make a distinction between these three is a major factor. So from this perspective, I think NEP gave a boost to relook at the education entirely from a different perspective. And that's where, when we talk in terms of higher education, I restrict it to only to the higher education component is concerned. When we talk in terms of higher education, let us say, for example, the current situation, that is scenario that is there. If you are talking in terms of lower secondary education, etc., we have a certain component of training that tend to take place in terms of B.Ed or in terms of D.Ed, etc. When you come to higher education, it's only the post-graduation degree, NET, PhD, these are components. So we really suddenly land up into a teaching profession, and we may not know what to teach and how to teach and etc. This is where the challenge is. This is from the teacher's perspective is concerned. What is the expectation of the students is another perspective that we need to look into. Now we have to integrate between, now when you say NEP component that is coming in, how to make the holistic development of the students are concerned, especially in the field of current in the 21st century, where technology is coming in, when ChatGPT and the internet facilities are available, students are much more, why should the students come to the class? That's a challenging factor. And when you look at the overall development, what is the role of a teacher there? And what do you mean by a teaching component? So these are all some of the challenges that are there. And in order to fulfill the objective of NEP, are we ready? What are the needs that we need to prepare ourselves? And then, whenever there is a change, there is always a resistance to change. And then how to adapt to that particular change is a factor. This is a platform where we would like to threadbare analysis of what is the need for a change. What are the needs that, as a teacher or in the field of higher education, what are the changes that are required is one particular factor. Can we identify the needs that are there? Now, when we talk in terms of capacity building, there are always people who try to, let us say, practice something new, and maybe they may be successful also. And they may not be able to share their experiences. Here is a platform where those success stories, as well as the failure stories, with regard to the higher education can be exchanged, so that this would be a platform where we learn together what are the best practices that are there. Having identified the needs, is it possible for us to make use of the best practices? And capacity building of the higher education is possible. This is one. The second objective of this particular conference is that having shared this particular component, can we come out with a strategic policy so that this can be shared with a larger majority or a larger section, so that would be possible. This is the second, let us say, objective of this particular conference is concerned. I hope that there are several participants who are here who have already done empirical as well as a theoretical paper with regard to sharing their experiences are concerned. And I wish that the greater degree of interaction and exchange tend to take place. And the end of tomorrow, probably we will have a strategic plan which we can submit it to ICSSR and the respective body, so that the objective of this particular conference and the result of this particular conference would be more meaningful, and we take forward the learning from that, and probably at our own level, is it possible for us to implement those, let us say, capacity building, and all of us can strive towards achieving the goal of NEP component is concerned. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. I am very sure that this conference will give the takeaways that each participant here has to take. So now I request the chief guest for today's conference, Mr. Srinath Bhatni, sir, to share his insights. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. That's right. Respected Padma Shri, Professor Sridhar, he is there in the boardroom, and I met him. We had a wonderful discussion in the morning. Professor Kanabiran, Sri Vishwanath Shetty, Professor Ashok, and the participants, all the participants in this two-day conference. I am honored to be with you today, and thank you for inviting me for this conference. In fact, I was a bit surprised when I got called from Professor Muralidhar, informing me that there's a conference here, and please do come and be part of this inauguration ceremony. I was surprised because I'm not a hardcore academician like most of you here. And obviously, I'm not even a student now. And I asked him, is the right choice you're making, or by mistake you called me? You should have called somebody else. No, he said, no, we want you to come and share your thoughts. It gives a different perspective. Then I thought this is a wonderful experience for me to interact with some of the academicians. Maybe I will also learn a couple of things. So I readily accepted. So I am here today. Just to put it in a perspective, I'll just take 30 seconds and give my background, and that will create a context of what I want to share with you today. I did my engineering education from Mysore, in NIA Mysore. I did my post-graduation from Indian Institute of Science here. And my first job was with a public sector undertaking, BHEL, for about 12 years. My job was in a hardcore mechanical engineering field, in which I was trained, I studied, and I got my degree and my postgraduate degree. But somewhere during the 12 years, things changed for me as a person. Personally, it changed for me. Maybe you call it a destiny, which was an opportunity for me to change my line of profession from hardcore engineering, mechanical engineering, in which of course I was trained, to those days it used to be called EDP, electronic data processing. Today you call software engineering. And I grabbed that opportunity. When I grabbed that opportunity, I did not know much about the other side, the new field. I did not even know what it was, but it was a change which challenged me, so I took that challenge. That changed my course of my career completely. After 12 years in that company, I changed my job and joined Infosys in 92. At that time, remember, 92 was after 1991, when some change happened in India, which changed the course of this country, hopefully forever. We opened our economy, opened ourselves to the whole world. We opened with open arms the competition, and we boldly took a decision to step into this wild world. It was a big change for the country, like it happened to me at an individual level in 1982 when I changed my line. Mine was a very small microcosm of this big change. And of course, my career remained with Infosys. That was my third and the last job till I retired in 2014. And that change, what happened to the country, reflected upon a company like Infosys. Many more companies like Infosys, because I was part of Infosys. When India opened up, many of us in many companies were scared because we had to compete with somebody who was much more advanced economy. We had to compete with companies on their terms. We were in a very comfortable, our own house till 1991, in a very cozy atmosphere. Many companies took this as an opportunity. Many companies took up this as a threat. I still remember those days, in our industry circles, there were a lot of discussion of, no, we should not open this, we should not get into this, we should close our doors as we had done for whatever, 30, 40 years, etc., etc. And some of us argued, no, let's see what happens. Rest is history. Today, that industry is $200 billion industry, providing direct employment to about 2 million Indians, 2 million families, probably indirect employment to another 10 or 8 or 10 million Indian families, Indians. Second most important thing that happened because of that success was put India on the world map. I still remember 1992 when I traveled first time outside India with my Indian passport. I was nobody. I was somebody from developing country. There was a lot of confusion between third world, developing country. We were somewhere in between. But I was treated as it was. Today, if any of my young friends here go with their passport, you are recognized. This is the change that happened to the country. Why I am telling this is, I want to bring it back to the topic of today. Probably, the last biggest invention that happened which changed the human society forever, I don't know how many of you can even think of it, was invention of steam engine. I'm talking about a fundamental change in the human society, the world that happened because of an invention. It was the steam engine, which happened probably 250, 300 years back. What did it do? It brought the distances shorter, not physically, metaphorically, because people could travel longer distance in a shorter period of time. Because of that, every small part of society could access the market in the other part of the society, which meant the goods you produced here could be sold elsewhere. This also meant movement of people from here to somewhere else. Obviously, they went overboard, and not the people, but armies from a country moved to another country to colonize. We were on the receiving end. We became a colony. So that was the last invention which changed the human society forever. The next invention that probably changed the human society forever was in 90s internet. It has changed our society forever, irreversible. What did internet do? Today, of course, it's taken for granted. But when it was coming into use in the mid-90s, 95, 96, I was in the thick of things of building the software industry in India. These two collaborated with each other, and that was the reason why we could build a software industry of $200 billion today. It democratized access of information across the world. No first world country, no second world country, no third world country. It simply democratized. It gave opportunities for everyone equally to do what they wanted to do with information data. We call information revolution, all these things. These words came into existence only in 90s. And of course, that's the history again. This has changed. Now, map this to the journey of our country. till 1947, we were a colony. We were under the rule of somebody else. They decided what we can do, what we should do. Accordingly, they provided the infrastructure for us. Education is one of those infrastructure. I'm not going to get into physical infrastructure, roads, this, that, etc., etc. But let us focus on the education, which is of interest to all of us here today. They created an education framework which suited them to create intellectual coolies to serve them. And it served them very well. 200 years, 250 years. Very few Indians were privileged to have access beyond this. Few higher education institutions, very few in India, and some of those elite could go and access those education system in Oxford, Cambridge, those kind of things. That's it. After independence, we were a nascent country, and society had to reinvent itself. It's not easy. And then, of course, when I say we, I'm talking about the whole society, government, everything put together, focused on higher education, built IITs, created our own engineers, doctors, professionals. That actually helped India to stand on its own feet in the nascent part of our free India. We built our own steel plants, we built our own bridges, we built our own many things, which was a great positive movement towards our own India, which our goal is Vikasit Bharat. Though nobody defined Vikasit Bharat what it should be, but that was the direction which took. However, the socio-economic framework did not change much. It was a controlled economy. We closed our doors. We were happy in our own home. It was cozy, comfortable, warm. You know what happened to our whole economic situation by 1991, and we had to open it up. Now, coming back to what I told earlier, and now the journey of the country, these two matched after 90s. On the technology front, the internet came. On the opportunities front, we opened up the economy. And many in the corporate world grabbed this as an opportunity. Many were scared as a challenge. That will happen anyway. Today, those companies, those entities which took this as a challenge and opportunity, today they all have become big companies generating wealth for the country, generating employment. Now, in all these things, economic situation changed. We grabbed that. That's a turning point for the country. But somehow, the higher education system was slow to respond and react. It remained almost the same, even after the opening up of the economy. The change that sort of ushered in the higher education system, according to me, is probably NEP 2020. I'm not looking at NEP 2020 as a document, a process, this change, that change, etc., which is the details. But conceptually, if you look at NEP 2020, it's very different, and hopefully that will usher in change in the higher education framework of this country for the next orbit leap of this country. Now, coming back to my personal, which I'm trying to map onto this, as I said, I got onto the wave of the change of 1991. Probably I was lucky. Destiny took me there. When I finished my corporate career in 2014, destiny again, I did not go after it, but destiny pushed me to get into the management board of my own college, which I had left in 1975. I had never imagined in my dreams that destiny will take me back to my college 40 years after I left the college. So I got involved with the affairs of my college. Thereby, I got exposed into this, your world of academic world, of higher education. And of course, I had to use my experience of the corporate world, map it suitably into the academic world, and make changes to the extent possible, with the speed possible, in the academic world, which I was part of then. I am still a part of this institution, great institution according to me. Obviously, it's my institution, my alma mater. And we have done a very transformational things in last 10 years, many miles to go. And this is my exposure to the academic world. So today, I am going to share my experience mainly based on my experience in the corporate world of being a part, as well as see the change in the corporate world. And of course, my involvement in the academic world over the last 10 years, being a part of small change in that academic world, and of course, what is happening to the country. This, I believe, this change is inevitable. This change needs to happen for the benefit of not our generation here, may not be even for generation who are sitting in the first two rows, but we owe it to those generation who are sitting in those rows. As they say, if you sow a mango tree, if you plant a mango tree, you are not going to get the benefit out of that. You are not going to eat that mango. Your next generation is going to benefit from that. So it's our duty today to introspect and not hold on to the comfort zone, but to look at very objectively and push for changes, which is going to be our gift to the next generation. Because we are talking about Vikasit Bharat in 2047. Many of us won't be there in 2047. But they will be there. And they will remember us. Yes, our previous generation made this change. And we are the beneficiaries of that. Like, we thank our previous generation, my parents, not even parents, probably grandparents' generation, to have suffered and got us the freedom. We are the beneficiaries of that. So, I will just give you a couple of points which I think is point worth introspecting when you discuss amongst yourself, and plug it in as a concept when we discuss about the changes in the education system, especially when we talk about the capacity building. I fully understand what is capacity building, because today I am in the midst of challenge in my own institution of this capacity building. To me, capacity building is not just recruit 200 faculty and then the capacity is built. That's very easy to do. That's not the capacity building. Capacity building is quality and quantity. Quality, quantity, and of course the stability. This is the capacity building. Now, let me just share a couple of points which is equally applicable in a corporate world, equally applicable in the academic world, to ponder with. Now, if you look at NEP 2020, it's talking about conceptually very different things. It's a very bold attempt to change the education, especially higher education, even the lower education framework from what it is today to something else. They say, point number one, they say change is constant. Very well said, a motherhood statement. But let me also add to that, every change brings fear in a human being. Every change brings a fear in any animal. It's a born instinct because everyone wants to be in their comfort zone. But unless change happens, progress doesn't happen. So fundamentally, we have to start with an assumption: change is constant, change is uncomfortable, change is inevitable, but change is required to progress. Then we can think of all these new frameworks, adaptability of framework, and most importantly, the acceptability of the new framework. Second, attract and nurture talent. Because whatever you do, at the end of the day, success comes from the human beings involved. In corporate world, we say employees. In academic world, we say faculty. Somewhere else, we may say something else. But at the end of the day, human being is involved. So, for success of anything, you have to attract, retain, and nurture talent. What needs to be done for doing all that? Reward and recognize. This is most important thing. I will take a little bit more time on this because this is what I have experienced. Pardon me if I am a bit direct and harsh in some of these things because I have noticed this difference between corporate world and academic world. Somehow, I think it has gone into the psyche of our society over last many decades or even 100 years or 200 years, that teaching is a noble profession. Of course, teaching is a noble profession. A healthcare doctor's profession is a noble profession because doctor gives relief to a patient. But that also involves, people have to understand, recognizing the teacher, rewarding the faculty, rewarding those who are involved. Gone are those days when you say, no, everyone has to do it selflessly. But in a market economy, that is not possible. So you have to blend this market economy and the concept of this noble profession, etc., and create an environment where it is attractive, remunerative, and of course, it also brings in the best talent into the field. Adopt very suitable performance management system. This is very, very important. Because I have come across situations where faculty will say, my job is to teach and go. It's up to the student to grab that what I taught and excel. Which, if you look at it from one point of view, may be right. But remember, student is a group. Students are a group. There are X% who are brilliant, Y% not so brilliant, Z% requires a lot of help. A job of a teacher is to focus on Y and Z, so to bring them up to, if not level of X, Z plus Y plus. That's where the performance of faculty comes in education field very important. Slowly that concept of performance management is coming up in the academic field, but again it's a change and I see a lot of resistance in some quarters. But this is a change which has to be brought, which has already been brought in the corporate world today. Create a very healthy and competitive environment. I believe that healthy competition leads to progress. Healthy competition. Very easy to build a competitive environment, people will be fighting with each other. That's not the point. Here the leadership in management of academic environment is extremely important. Encourage innovation and research. My personal belief is everyone is innovative. Everyone would not like to do routine things a day on, day after. But if environment is not created for conducive, innovative environment, innovation doesn't happen on its own. So create that for students as well as faculty members. Be open to the best practices from wherever it comes. This is one very important thing which I have found. We in the industry adopted the best practices around the world. Some of them we copied the best practices, some of them beg, borrow, steal, we did it, we implemented it, and today the industry is on par with any other part of the world. Let's not have ego of copying or following the best practices from elsewhere. Lost. This is, of course, is going to be a challenge. It's not going to be easy. Break the barrier between the academic world and the industry practical world. This is the most important thing. Even during my days, it was not done very well. And I'm talking about 45 years earlier. 45 years later, probably situation has not improved much. I used to see that from the other side when I used to be recipient of the product of the academic world. But today I'm on this part of the world and trying to service the industry. The gap between the practical exposure and theoretical knowledge is huge. Theoretical knowledge on its own is of no use. Practical experience on its own is of no use. The healthy blend of these two is absolute must. This, of course, has to be done along with industry. This has to be done along with educational institutions and industry coming together and connect with industry bodies. This is a huge effort, and government is trying to do this, and we have to make use of this opportunity. So, these are some of the points which I thought I would like to share with you. I am sure that we are going in the right direction. Every change, as I said, is going to be sort of bit difficult, but nevertheless, change will happen, need to happen, and you are at the forefront of this. As I said, this will be your gift to the next generation when most of us won't be there, and they will thank us for creating a Vikasit Bharat, and education is one of the pillars of the Vikasit Bharat, most important pillar of the Vikasit Bharat, without which Vikasit Bharat is going to be a dream. Let us all hope that dream comes true. Thank you very much once again for inviting me here today, and wish you all the best for this two-day conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your experiences and insights. Our nation, since independence and after 1991 through economical expansion, has come a long way. No doubt, now looking forward to the future for realizing the vision of developed Bharat, it is the onus on the institutions and on the academicians actually. It is a humongous job for all the academicians to realize that vision. Thank you. Now I request Professor Ganeshan Kannabiran sir to deliver his address. Over to you, sir.
Good morning to all of you. Professor Srinath Patni sir and Vishwanath Shetty, the secretary sir, and Professor Ashok, Professor Gaurisha and Madam Principal, and all of you here. In fact, we are really tied up with some work in office, but still, because our collaborator is just, so I thought I'll take a break and be here. And also that I should thank Professor M.K. Sridharji for sort of introducing chess to me, and I think I know Professor Sridhar for since July 2022, when I became the executive committee member of NAC, and of course I became the director later. And so somewhere Sridharji introduced me to chess, and I started interacting with them, and it led to a joint project that we are now executing with chess. And I think Professor Ashok and Professor Gaurisha and others, I should thank them for that opportunity. So, the NEP 2020, I think all of us know, and its broader, importance of how the need for effective implementation. So, I was the director of an institution before coming to NAC, IIIT in Andhra Pradesh, and we were the first institution to implement NEP 2020, meaning that we implemented NEP 2020 in 2020 itself. What happened was, when it was launched, we started working, and we got certain changes in the curriculum, in the processes, the way that we engage with industry, the way we look at skill development and all that, formulated the curriculum, and then implemented to the 2020 batch of students. When we actually implemented, it was 2021, but then we implemented from the 2020 batch. So we were the first institution to implement. Of course, I can, two-day conference, I can talk about it, but I have 10 minutes of time to, be with you. I thought I was thinking which one I'll pick up to talk here. I thought I'll pick up how to build capacity of teachers. Okay. Now, if you look at our institutions, we are of varied types. I'm still a professor of NIT Trichy. I'm deputation here, which is about 55 years old, and there's a long history. The institution where I was a director was, when I joined as a director, it was 5 years old. So I was the first director of the institute. And we need to have good faculty. Obviously, it's very important. And we were very successful in attracting good faculty members who are PhDs from IITs and some of the good foreign universities. But then their readiness to get into the academic system, which is not only research. When you recruit good faculty members from IITs and such institutions, they are very good at research. They have good publications. And there are a lot of energy and enthusiasm. But then connecting with students, teaching and furthering research, and working for the institution in various aspects, these are all challenges for them. They are relatively young also. And I look at only one aspect here for our discussion, is about how do we, in the curriculum development, curriculum delivery, and engaging with industry, that aspect alone I'll talk about it. As a IIIT, we were focusing on computer science and electronics and communication and those courses, programs. So, somewhere in 1718, all the computer technology that we are talking about today, the data science and AI and machine learning or cyber security and so on, were just emerging. And we have reached the peak now. And it's now the faculty members who are new to these concepts. How do we really make them understand what are the opportunities and, sort of catch those opportunities which will benefit eventually the students? And of course, even I belong to computer science in a different sense, but I also had that weakness in understanding. So what we did is, we did series of workshops. Okay. The workshops ranged from cyber security to AI and machine learning to data science to further topics within AI and machine learning, further topics in data science. These workshops brought two sets of people in front of our faculty members. One is people from the industry. You name any company, including Infosys or IBM to Accenture to any company which is specializing in that field, we brought them, minimum half a dozen people. And the other bunch of people we brought are the professors from IITs and NITs, IIT Madras or IIC Bangalore and such institutions. Now, one side, the faculty from these leading institutions brought the importance from an institutional perspective. The industry people were able to, sort of highlight and create enthusiasm in our faculty members on what's happening in the field. So, we did that for about 2 years, and then we started looking at where do we focus. Now, we looked at, for example, today, this in IIIT where I just left, as a BTech program in AI and machine learning. Now, how it went is that we looked at 2-3 things. One is we launched a specialization in AI and machine learning, which means now the challenges are the faculty should be able to teach courses in the advanced courses in AI and machine learning, and the students have to absorb it and get those skills for employment in the industry. Therefore, we looked at connecting each faculty with a bunch of industry people. And they started teaching these courses for us. For example, we ran a course on, machine learning algorithms or something. Then we brought some IIT professors, some industry people, and they taught the course for a semester, and our faculty sat with them. And the next semester, 50% was taught by the external people, 50% by internal people. The third year, 75% by internal people. So this change, this took about 2 to 3 years, that you need to really be patient and you need to really motivate people and do it. On the way, when we were doing this, we were looking at the end product. The student should also be benefited out of these, efforts. So we looked at putting these students in the industry for a full semester project and made our faculty to be the co-guide and an industry person as a guide. It's not only about teaching, the ability that they were able to connect led to joint research projects. So it goes on and on. And therefore, over a period of 5 years, what we have achieved is we were able to develop students with a lot of skills that led to good campus placements. I can give you numbers. The first year 8 lakhs per annum, next year 16 lakhs per annum, next year 20 lakhs per annum, the next year 25 lakhs per annum, the average package. You can see the number ranging from 8 to 25 within a period of 4 years. So therefore, it is our sort of collective ability and a comprehensive ability to develop faculty members. And as the sir was saying, that's very important that you need to recognize and reward faculty members. And I'm sure many of our institutions, including government institutions, we do not have. But we introduced 2 things. One is, if I find a faculty who is a PhD from IIT or a foreign university, we give advance increments and we give top-up payment, top-up pay, which means about 3 lakhs per annum extra that they will get for the first 3 years. If I am able to hold that faculty for first 3 years, then they get settled, then there is very less propensity to leave. And every year, performance-based incentives. The faculty can earn up to 25% more than the regular salary if they are able to perform. Okay. So one side, you need to build capabilities for them to do the job better. On the other side, you need to recognize and provide incentives and rewards to keep them with you. Of course, many of your teachers, I don't know how many administrators are here in this audience, many of your teachers, at least you should, when you go back and when you discuss with your colleagues, you should focus on talking about doing better and demanding incentives and rewards. Of course, there are a lot of things that we can share with you, but for want of time, I thank the organizers for the opportunity, and I wish you all a good conference in the next 2 days. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for sharing your insights and how opportunities given to faculty over time have positively impacted the student learning. We truly appreciate your timely and insightful perspectives. I now request Shri B.R. Vishwanath Shetty, sir, to deliver the presidential address.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It seems that I am the odd man out amongst all these educators and great people over here, but then being in the management of the educational institution, I thought I should participate. In fact, when Dr. Parvati asked me to deliver the presidential address, I said I know nothing about capacity building in higher education. But having been a businessman and my daughter-in-law being in an international company, Metro AG, she built a global capacity building for her company, giving business solutions and how the capacity building can happen in a business and take it worldwide. So I was just asking her why it cannot be incorporated into the higher education also. The problem is I graduated in 1972. We were still following the British system of education. And seeing the textbooks today and all that, it's almost similar what we are doing. I'm really happy that this NEP 2020 was formulated, the bill passed in the Parliament, and then implemented in the universities and also in the institution. And I'm very happy to say VT has been implementing NEP right from 2020. Today, we have a conclave of distinguished guests to lead us is the chief guest, Mr. Srinath Bhatni. I've always heard of our NAC director, Mr. Ganeshan. Then we have Mr. Professor Ashok, Gauresh, and all of you as educators. I, on behalf of the management, welcome you to the Vasavi Educational Trust. We are indeed fortunate that we are able to co-sponsor this two-day program on capacity building in higher education. I was just trying to gather some information as to what that I should speak in a few minutes. I've been just given 10 minutes, but I won't take 10 minutes because I'd like to keep everything concise. So I'll just share my thoughts with you. The theme of the capacity building is particularly relevant in today's context where higher education institutions face numerous challenges, from adapting to technological advancements to addressing the needs of the rapidly changing workforce. To address these challenges, we must focus on the capacity of our institutions, faculty, and the students. This can be achieved through various means such as faculty development programs, international collaborations, and innovative curriculum design, to name a few. By investing in these areas, we can enhance the quality of education, improve student outcome, and increase the relevance of higher education in the employment opportunities area. Furthermore, we must prioritize digital transformation. It's very, very important. Sustainability and inclusion in our efforts to build capacity. This includes leveraging technology to enhance teaching and learning, promoting sustainable practices, and fostering inclusive environment and supporting diversity and equity. As we move forward, it is essential that we work together, sharing best practices, expertise, and resources to achieve our goals. By doing so, we can create a stronger, more resilient higher education system that benefits not only our institutions, but also our communities and society at large. The two-day national conference would witness various plenary sessions, institutional development debates by heads of the institution, and paper presentations by academicians and research scholars. At this, before I close this, I just want to share a few bullet points to make it concise about all about capacity building in higher education. Number one, faculty development. Number two, research and innovation enhancement. Number three, curriculum and program development. Number four, governance and leadership strengthening. This is more for administrators and management people. We also should think of the future, next 10 years, next 15 years, what our goals are going to be, and to achieve Viksit Bharat in 2047. 5. Infrastructure and digital transformation. 6. Student support and development. 7. Internationalization and collaboration. 8. Quality assurance and accreditation. And the strategies, which is very important, being an outcome of all this, for effective capacity building. Public-private partnerships. 1. 2. Government and policy support. 3. Stakeholder engagement. 4. Sustainability focus. If this is all in concise, and if you try to expand all these things, I am sure we would build capacity in higher education. I wish you all the very best. Good deliberations in the next 2 days, and I hope it will be very purposeful and useful to all of you. Godspeed and God bless all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful reflections on the importance of capacity building of faculty in higher education, focusing on different aspects such as research and innovation, digital transformation, infrastructure development, internationalization of higher educational institutions, and so on. Thank you. Now, without any delay, I request Dr. Bharati to give away vote of thanks. Thank you.
A very good morning to everyone present here. It's my privilege and honor to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks on behalf of VT First Grade College and the organizing committee of this 2-day national conference on capacity building in higher education. First and foremost, I express my deep gratitude to our distinguished keynote speaker in his absence, Padma Shri Awardee Professor M.K. Sridhar, President of CES and Chancellor of Chanakya University, who is present in our boardroom. A special thanks to our chief guest, Mr. Srinath Bhatni, founder of Axillar Ventures, for gracing this occasion with his presence and sharing his invaluable thoughts. I request Dr. Gaudisha to hand over a token of gratitude to Mr. Srinath Bhatni, sir. I extend my sincere appreciation to our guest of honor, Professor Ganeshan Kanibaran, Director NAC, for his valuable contributions. I thank you, sir. And I request Professor Ashok, HS, to honor Professor Ganeshan. Thank you, sir. We are deeply grateful to Shri B.R. Vishwanath Sethi, President of Vasavi Educational Trust, for his constant support and encouragement in all our endeavors. Sir, your vision continues to guide us towards excellence. And thank you, sir. And now I request Dr. Gaudisha to honor Shri B.R. Vishwanath Sethi. Thank you, sir. I extend my thanks to Dr. Gaudisha, Professor and Director SES, who has worked hard in organizing this conference. Thank you, sir. And I also extend my gratitude to Dr. R. Parvati, Academic Director and Principal of VET First Grade College, for her leadership and continuous motivation in making this conference. A heartfelt thanks to all our esteemed speakers and panelists who will be sharing their expertise during the course of this conference. Your presence adds immense value to our discussions. And, I extend my thanks to Professor Ashok HS, Professor Chanukya University, for his gracious presence and contributions to today's discussions. Thank you, sir. And I also wish to acknowledge and thank the principals of various colleges, the organizing team, the press, media, for their cooperation and support in ensuring the smooth execution of this event. Last but certainly not least, I extend my warm appreciation to all the participants, faculty members, researchers, and students whose enthusiasm and engagement will make this conference truly meaningful. Your active participation will be the driving force behind its success. With this, I once again express my gratitude to each and everyone who has contributed to this event. I look forward to the insightful sessions ahead and wish all of you a productive and enriching conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Bharati ma'am. Now we shall close this inauguration session. Thank you all of you for gathering here. Going ahead, we shall take a short tea break for 10 minutes, and it is arranged right opposite to the ground floor. You can all head there. After the tea break, we shall have a EduVision dialogue. I request all the principals and heads of institutions here to please go to management boardroom in the ground floor. And focal point session 1 and 2 is been arranged in room number 115. All the participants who have been allotted FP1 and FP2 are requested to head to room number 115, and FP3 will happen in 105. I request all the participants, please take a short break and head back to the sessions. Thank you.